stories. Are you recording?
Mhm.
Okay. I have a lot of stories, but I guess one that I'm still dealing with is a little similar to John. Mine's just main focus on my dad personally. I can say every day I wake up and I look in the mirror, I see my dad. Doesn't matter if I have a low cut, I have my fro, if I'm wearing a new style of clothes, I see my dad. My dad, born December 29th, born and raised in Pennsylvania, east side, from a well-known family on Pennsylvania, grew up Army-based, from Air Force, 22 plus years. Met a woman that was already in a married relationship, that already had kids, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, my brother and my sister. A man that saw a marriage and still pursued her. Do you find that as guts? Do you find that as charisma? Do you find that as a charm? Or do you find that as deceitful, rude, disrespectful? I can't tell anymore. My mom ended up having issues in her own marriage with my brother and my sister and her husband. And come to find out, she actually fell in love with my dad while she was still in the marriage. Yeah, they were going through rough spots. Divorce was on the line of happening. But how do you do that in a marriage? You see yourself going through a divorce, or you just go through bad habits, or you just see negative future plans. But how can you look at another man and say, let me be with him, or let me give him a chance? No problems with my mom, no problems with my dad. Wait, that's a lie. I do. My dad got with my mom. They fell in love. That's what they call it nowadays. They call it love. They called it back then. They call it now. They fell in love. Went to lunch every day on the Army base. Talked like 2 normal people. Act like they were single, but they really weren't. My dad himself was also in a marriage. Had 3 kids, if not more. To my knowledge, I only have 2 brothers and 3 sisters on my dad's side. Pennsylvania bound. Only visited them once, only to see my second grandfather die. So, dad and mom get together, having the time of life. My mom finally finalizes her divorce, is set, and my mom and my dad take off to California, Benicia, California, where they start a life. All these plans are put together, and here I am. Now, it was November 12th, 1995, 3:25 Sunday. John Muir Hospital, private. They have me. I was planned. By the ways that the story's about to go, sometimes I contemplate that. Am I planned? I truly feel like I was an accident. I always feel like I ruined the family. Because of just the actions of everybody's reaction of my birth happening into this family that shows negativity in my eyes. When I was born, my mother took me straight to my grandfather. My grandfather, on my mom's side, was the strongest man I know, and still to this day. I've changed my last name. I actually added on my grandfather's last name to Newsom Moore. Newsom is my dad's name, Wsome. Moore is my grandfather's. I really want to just be called Moore. William Lee Alexander Moore, no Newsom. The Newsom part disgusts me to where I can't even look my dad in the face sometimes. As I was brought to my grandfather, everybody in the house, besides my grandfather, accepted me. My grandfather accepted me. Everybody else in the room did not. There we go. My aunties looked at me with just to be, I don't have memory, but just the way my mom describes it as in, they really didn't look at you to hold you or to say congratulations. They looked at you like, who is this child? Where did he come from? What father is he from? Where is all this happening? When really, when you see the birth of a child or into a new addition of the family, you should praise it. It should be a blessing. You should say, congratulations. Oh my God, it's a boy. We have another man in the family. And raise it to be a powerful man to take over the family. But no, I was looked at like disgust. My grandfather, all he cared about was that he had a grandson. He had another grandson. And that's all he cared about. And that's why I love him to death. But going back, my mom and my dad lived together, and you would figure, like John said, everything's going peachy okay. Everything's perfect. This should be a good life. I have a mom and a dad, a house. I have stuff. But, that only lasted for about a year. 2 years old, I have visual, very blurred nowadays, but I still have visual that yelling. I can hear my dad and my mom yelling. I could see the vase being thrown against the wall. I can hear my dad calling my mom out her name, words I won't describe to you. I can hear my mom telling my dad to get out the house, telling him to leave, just leave. And one day, I can remember seeing a squad of police barging into my house, throwing my dad against the wall, putting him to the ground in front of me while I was watching cartoons. Yeah, what a sight to see. My dad saying, son, everything's okay. But with an angered look on his face. My mom snatched me off the ground, put me in the bedroom, and slamming the door, put me into darkness. No light. And then all I hear is, you can't take me away. You can't take me away from my son. You need me. I need you, but you can't do this. My mom saying, just take him away, get him out of my house. And then the door slams. Me and my mom move on with our lives. My dad has 2 strikes on him. One more, so by law you get life in prison. He's been keeping his nose clean to speed up time. But me and my mom move on with our lives, and we moved to Richmond, California, north side. One of the dangerous streets in the East Bay, besides Oakland. Growing up in Richmond, me and my mom were able to be stable, living in a complex, but it was a huge house, but with different doors for different living statuses of families living in one home. We managed. Then my dad, connects with my mom to find out where I am. He ends up finding out where we live. He makes all these commitments, all these end up being lies. I want to see my son. I want to be involved in his life. My son needs a male role model. That is true. A young man needs a male role model. Now, I give my mom all praise and respect and utmost just loyalty that she raised this man right here that stands before you. A woman raised a man. That's very possible. Don't ever think that's impossible, because I'm a living example, and there's other men that are living examples. My dad was involved in my life during when he was recovering into becoming a better man. Telling me, son, what do you want to do in life? Where do you want to go to college? I decided I want to go to college at the age of 8. What does an 8-year-old know about college? 8-year-old was watching college basketball, my true passion. One I fell in love with when I was 3 years old, playing ever since. But yeah, 8-year-old wanted to go to college because he was watching college basketball. And that looked, it was loves basketball, and it just so happens it's in college. So why not? I didn't know college was to get a higher education, was to get a better job in life. All I saw was basketball inside of an institution where things are possible at a higher level. My dad said, well, son, if you want to play basketball so much, let's get to work. At the age of 2, though, when things were slightly, good, but then transitioning, my dad got me the greatest gift in the world to me on my 2nd birthday, and it was a basketball. A basketball with a playhouse hoop that you can find at Toys R Us. I don't know if they still sell them nowadays, but yeah, that was the greatest gift to me ever since. And I shot on that every day, and the reason why I figured life was going to be perfect was for the fact of me holding the ball and putting it in the hoop put smiles on my dad's and mom's faces. Put smiles on my family faces that came over to visit. Look at him, he can shoot. Look at him, he's putting the ball in the hoop with no problem. He's going to be something when he grows up. My dad made all these promises, but never came through. He stood to me and said, son, I'm going to pick you up every weekend. Every weekend I'm going to pick you up and we're going to hang out. No time limit, no nothing. I can't wait till the weekend. School's going. I love school, it kept me out of trouble. I did good grades in it, but I couldn't wait for the weekend. The weekend comes, no dad to be found. Just me and my mom watching Harry Potter again. Watching movies. Every Friday, every Saturday, we have a movie night. To speed up time, I'm in middle school, transitioning, going into high school, and my dad wants to be even more involved in my life, supposedly. And it's to that point to where I feel like my maturity is at such a high level that I'm trying to become a man so fast. I'm trying to be the man that takes care of my mom. And that's who I still am. I'm a man that wants to take care of his mom and just not even have her lift a finger to do anything. But no, I'm too busy stuck in this school, not in a bad sense, but trying to get this education, trying to be successful so that my mom doesn't ever have to lift her finger ever again to do anything. My dad says, well, son, to become a man, you must do this, you must do that. I don't even have the balls to say to my dad, I can't look my dad in the face and say, but were you a man? Were you a man to take care of my mom and me? Were you a man to watch over me? Were you a man to keep up your promises? I couldn't even say that. Because to be honest, I'm scared of my dad. My dad is 5'9", but you swore he was 7 foot with all the strength he has. And just for the simple fact I can't look my dad in the face sometimes when we have a conversation, it's annoying, it's painful, it kills me inside. I can't look at a man that gave me life. It makes me speechless sometimes. It makes me like this, it makes me stutter. I see my dad and I feel like I'm meeting a new person every time I see my dad. You would think, see your dad, hey Pops, talk about where you guys left off. But no, I see my dad and we have the same conversation. Hey Dad, what's going on? What's new? And I have to, for some reason, give an explanation for why I haven't called him in a while. When it should be the other way around and why he hasn't called me in 4 months. But you know me, I'm too shy, I'm too weak to say something. But my mom goes on and on about my dad, how he's disrespectful, how he doesn't care. And for a short time in my life, I protected my dad. Whenever my mom used to go bad on my